So I'm Elizabeth Williams. I'm one of the Disability Liaison Officers. So I work within the Disability Resource Centre, and my role is to I meet with students who have a disability or medical condition that's impacting on their study, and I basically make an assessment as to what kind of study adjustments might need to be put in place for them so that they can study to the best of their ability.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the Disability Resource Centre?
Yep. So the Disability Resource Centre is, I guess universities have disability resource centres because there's legislation called the Disability Discrimination Act that basically states that universities need to provide reasonable adjustments for students who have a disability or medical condition that impacts on their study, so that they can study on the same basis as a student without a disability or medical condition. And the Disability Resource Centre is basically there to put those adjustments in, or determine what those adjustments should be for a particular student. So every student, students might come along, they might have the same disability, but then adjustments that they need might be different. So it's the Disability Liaison Officer's role, I guess, to make an assessment as to what their impact of their disability or medical condition is and what kind of adjustments need to be applied for them. So we do an individual assessment for each student.
What kind of services essentially do you provide?
So an example of some of the services might be adjustments around exams. So a student might need some time for rest breaks during exams. They might need some extra writing time if it takes them longer to write than another student. They might need particular equipment. They might need their, so thinking outside of exams now, they might need their course materials to be reformatted into electronic format so that they can then use like assistive technology to access their study materials. What are some of the other examples? We have a process called a Learning Access Plan, and that's a document that states how the student's disability or medical condition impacts on their study and what kind of adjustments need to be provided, and then that document is sent through to unit chairs, so it's a communication tool, I guess, to tell unit chairs what they need to do for that particular student. So that's one of the other things that we do.
How would you define a disability or a learning problem? Like, what kind of people come to you and that kind of, you know?
Some examples of different conditions? Okay, so a student might have dyslexia, they might have a mental illness, so anxiety or depression, they might have a medical condition, things like diabetes or cancer, or they might have a broken arm or a broken leg. So yeah, there's a big sort of breadth of different things that students might have, and I guess the distinction is if it's affecting their study, that's when they might need to come and register with us. So there might be some students out there that have those things but they're managing with their studies okay, and they, you know, we might never see them during their degree, but the students that might need something else to be put in place, they're the ones that we see and put things in place for them.
Yeah. What do you think the level of awareness is towards your facility, your division, the Disability Centre?
Yeah, not sure. I'd like to say good, but a lot of the time students might not find out about us until they need us. And I think it helps that if unit chairs know about our service, and so often they might notice if a student's struggling or needs some extra help, and they might refer, let the student know about our service. And I guess other support services around the university, if they're able to sort of communicate that information to students. We have information up on the website, we give out information at orientation, but often these are times when students are getting too much information anyway. And a lot of it's word of mouth as well. I think
Yeah.
if other students know about our service and they've got a friend that they think might need some help, they'll send them along to us. But it could be probably better known, I think. Yeah.
If a student does need help, what is the process of application or process to actually gain that assistance?
Yeah, okay. So I guess the first point is the student might contact us, and they'll either do that by phone or email. Got email address at DR Centre, Disability Resource Centre, which they can access through their website. They might call into the office, and we then give them information about how to register. So they fill in a registration form, so we've got their details, but they also need to get medical documentation from, documentation from their relevant health professionals. So if they have a mental illness, that might be their psychologist. If it's a medical condition, that might be their GP. If they've got a learning disability, then they provide a learning disability assessment from an educational psychologist. So once they've got to their documentation, then they make a time to see one of the disability liaison officers, and then we sit down and go through their documentation and have a discussion with them about how their particular condition impacts for them, because as I said, for every student it will be different. And then we take it from there, talk about the adjustments we'll put in place.